Hello, and welcome to the Unknown Cones YouTube channel. Today I'll be going over some of my favourite facts about these amazing animals. I'm trying to bridge the gap between Otter fans and Call of Duty fans. Maybe you're watching this with some Otter facts or my mid-tier Black Ops gameplay, or maybe you're just like on the spectrum bro, and that's completely fine. You know me, number one Otter fan, I already knew a lot of these facts, but through copious amounts of research I've learned a lot of new things, and I hope you learned something new too. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the Otter facts. The word otter is from Old English and stems from a root word for water. Otters are also known as a sea cat. Kawauso, the Japanese name for otter, prominent in traditional folklore. Hariana, or water jaguar, is a local name in South America to describe a giant otter. Lobo de Rio and Perro de Agua are Spanish terms meaning river wolf and water dog, also used to describe a giant otter. There are 14 species of otter worldwide, known under the subfamily name of Lutrinae. The Asian small-clawed otter, native to South and Southeast Asia. The African clawless otter, found across sub-Saharan Africa. The Congo clawless otter, a swamp-dwelling African species which inhabit the Congo Basin rainforests. The Eurasian otter, widespread across Europe, Asia, and other parts of North Africa. The giant otter, endemic to the South American river systems. The hairy-nosed otter, a rare Southeast Asian river otter. The marine otter, a South American coastal otter who lives strictly in Pacific saltwater environments. The neotropical otter, a freshwater species spanning Central and South America. The North American river otter, who thrive in diverse wetland habitats. The sea otter, who live entirely in marine environments of the North Pacific. Smooth-coated otter, found across the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia. Southern river otter, native to southern regions of South America. Spotted neck otter, found in Central Africa, and the newly discovered Mesoamerican otter, native to Central America and parts of North and South America. Some other extinct species of otter include the Japanese river otter. Hunted for its fur, populations collapsed in the 1930s and was declared extinct in August 2012. You're going to have to excuse my pronunciation on some of these names. Dinosaur words aren't really my thing. The Enhydridion amnesis lived in Africa and Southeast Asia from the late Miocene to early Pleistocene period. The Megalodon hydrus was a late Pleistocene otter from Mediterranean islands like Sardinia, and the Siamogale from the late Miocene to early Pliocene period of Eastern Asia. Otters are part of a Musteladae family, which includes stoats, weasels, badgers, pine martens, and of course otters. Characteristics they share between them are their long flexible bodies, short limbs, thick coats, a carnivorous diet, and marking scent. Sea otters are one of the only marine animals to use tools. They float on their backs and place a rock on their chests to use as an anvil while they smash hard shells like clams, crabs, and mussels against a rock to get the food inside. Sea otters will also have a favorite rock they will hold on to their whole lives. They use a loose pouch of skin under their forearm to store it while diving. Sea otters have the world's densest fur out of all animals, around 1 million hairs per square inch. This thick coat is needed. Unlike other marine animals, they lack a thick layer of blubber. They rely on their thick fur to trap a layer of air, keeping their skin completely dry. Sea otters will spend up to 5 hours a day blowing air into and grooming their pelts. This does come with an undesired side effect, making them more buoyant. Occasionally, they will hold onto a rock or some kelp to help them dive. Sea otters can hold their breath for up to 5 minutes. River otters can hold their breath for even longer, up to 8 minutes. Otters can also close their nose and ears tight to keep water out. Otters can smell underwater by exhaling tiny air bubbles onto the object and quickly re-inhaling them. The bubbles trap and absorb scent molecules. This unique sensory adaptation helps otters hunt in dark or murky aquatic environments where vision is limited. They also have highly sensitive whiskers to detect vibrations in the water. Species such as the Eurasian and Asian small-clawed otter also have whiskers located on their elbows. Giant otters are the second largest and most capable predator of the Amazon rainforest. They hunt in families and have no problem confronting other enormous creatures like anacondas, caimines, and even jaguars. Sea otters help protect kelp forests by eating sea urchins. Without sea otters, the sea urchin population blooms and destroys the kelp forest habitat. This makes sea otters a keystone species. River otters are an indicator species that play an important role in their habitat. As apex predators that eat at the top of a food web, when pollutants enter the watershed habitat, river otters are the first to show signs of contaminants. A strong and active otter community is an indicator of a healthy habitat for otters, humans, and other species. Male river otters are called dogs or boars, and females are called sows. A group of otters is referred to as a family, bevy, lodge, If they're on land, a romp, and in the water, a raft. River otters sometimes take residence in abandoned beaver lodges or muskrat dens. Some even move in while the beavers are still present. They also take over the riverbank dens of foxes, badgers, and rabbits. These resting spots are called hoovers or couches. Otter holts are underground dens otters will use to escape danger, take shelter, and raise their young. These holts can be found along riverbanks, among tree roots, under branches, brush, or boulders. These dens will have multiple entrances both underwater and on land. They line their den with dense leaves, moss, and grass to make it cozy. Females maintain the den and look after the young. Young pups are born helpless and remain in the den until they are weaned around 3 months. Otters have very large territories, 20 to 30 kilometers of riverbank or 3 to 4 kilometers of coast. River otters will perform a poop dance by lifting their tail in the air and shaking their butt. They leave droppings called spraint, which researchers refer to smelling like violets. Otters have a communal latrine area, or toilet. They exchange information via chemical cues and feces. Over 100 different scent components of otter droppings have been identified. About 17 of these are thought to contain information on sex and even individual recognition. Otters also communicate with coos and chuckles when relaxed or playing, whistles and chirps to get attention, squeals, and screams or growls when scared or while defending territory. River otters are very social animals, and many live together in small groups. This behavior creates a bond among them and teaches the young survival and hunting skills. Few animals play as adults, and otters are one of them. They spend a lot of time sliding down mud banks, wrestling with each other, or juggling and tossing rocks. This playful behavior strengthens their coordination, hunting techniques, or just because they're plain bored. Sea otters give birth directly in the water, and throughout all times of the year, although this typically happens in spring. Baby sea otters, or pups, are not born with a knowledge of how to swim and are taught by their mothers. Pups are born without waterproof fur and have such fluffy coats they cannot dive until their adult fur grows in, so their mothers will carry them on their bellies until they are old enough to learn to swim, and dive at a couple weeks old. Their mother will spend up to 14 hours a day hunting and foraging for food to meet its high nutritious needs. They provide full care for up to 6 to 8 months until the pup can survive independently. Predators of sea otters include killer whales, sharks, and bald eagles have been known to snatch vulnerable pups from the surface of the water. Some predators of river otters are coyotes, bobcats, cougars, bears, and even domestic dogs can act as threats. Sea otter pups have a mortality rate of roughly 35 to 40% dying in their first 6 months, and up to 75% fail to survive their first year. This is due to pups being born from younger and inexperienced mothers, and environmental pressures like pollution and predators. In most otter species, fathers play no role in raising pups. Mothers raise them entirely on their own. However, species like the giant river otter and Asian small-clawed otters form strong family groups where the fathers will help guard territory and care for their young. Mother otters will sometimes lift or hold up their pups when facing a predator. Some claim it's to beg for mercy or invoke sympathy from a predator. Scientists believe it is just a natural instinct to keep their babies close and ready to move. Male sea otters will hold a mother's pups ransom in exchange for food. Male sea otters exhibit extreme aggressive mating behaviors. They will forcibly bite the females on the nose and hold their heads underwater. It's also been documented that male sea otters will approach juvenile harbor seals, subdue them, and rape them. This behavior extends to long after the seal has died. Biologists attribute this behavior to skewed sex ratios, high testosterone surges, and intense mating competition amongst younger males. So next time you see a sweet little face, just know this is a filthy fucking man, no better than Quagmire. Otters appear in many myths and legends, appearing as shape-shifting tricksters, ferocious water monsters, and sacred helpers. The most famous of these is Dobar-Chu, known as a waterhound or king otter, a massive vicious creature which resembles a dog-otter hybrid. Its skin was believed to bring miraculous protection, a legend echoed around Scotland's Arlene Don Castle, where an otter king is said to be buried. There is a lot more I could get into, but this could honestly be its own video, so let me know if that's something you're interested in seeing. Some species of otter are at risk. Southern river otters and marine otters are endangered, and neurotropical otters are near threatened, with humans being the biggest risks to them. River otters have been hunted for their pelts since the 1500s, and in some areas they are trapped for their fur. By the late 1800s and 1900s, river otters had disappeared from much of their historic range. Signed on July 7, 1911, the North Pacific Fur Seal Convention outlawed shooting and netting seals and otters at sea, which had driven the species near to extinction. Conservation efforts have proven to be successful. However, oil spills, water pollution, ecosystem stresses, and habitat destruction continue to be threats. In Singapore, otters live amongst a heavily urbanized environment. In the 20th century, they had become locally extinct, but due to government cleanup efforts and cleaning the waterways, the population has bloomed in the past decade. Today, otters roam the city waterways and public parks. Otters are highly intelligent and inquisitive animals. They possess long-term memory capabilities through their ability to remember puzzle solutions and investigate new objects in their environment. Most otters have a lifespan of up to 10 to 15 years in the wild. However, many do not survive the first 2 years due to hunger or accidents. In human care or captivity, they can reach up to 25 years thanks to medical help. The oldest known river otter lived to be 27 years old. Otters can swim at speeds of up to 7 miles an hour and run as fast as 50 miles an hour on land. They will also slide to get around faster and are excellent jumpers. Otters have an exceptionally high bite force for their size, capable of reaching up to 615 pounds per square inch, comparable to the force of a black bear. Otters can spend anywhere between 3 to 8 hours a day hunting and foraging for food. Depending on the species, otters eat around 15 to 30% of their total body weight every single day. Because they have incredibly fast metabolisms and lack a layer of insulating blubber, they must eat constantly just to stay warm. As carnivores, a river otter will eat mainly fish like trout or carp, crayfish and crabs, frogs, small birds and their eggs, and small animals like mice or rats. Otters are illegal to own as a pet in most places around the world, except few states in the US like Nevada or Michigan, which allow non-native species only if extensive licensing, housing, and permitting criteria are met. In parts of Asia like Japan, private ownership is tightly regulated, and in Indonesia, enforcement of this rule varies locally. Otters can form strong bonds with their human caregivers when raised in captivity, mirroring the social bonds they share in the wild. They view their human handlers as family, even mimicking human actions. Splash is an Asian small-clawed otter trained in search and rescue techniques. With an otter's ability to take scents underwater, he has been used by the Martin County Sheriff Office to dive and find unrecovered bodies in Florida waterways. Splash was the first otter in the United States to be trained in search and rescue. Now for a final fact of today's video, and my personal favorite. During the Cold War, the CIA explored using sea otters as covert intelligence agents, concluding declassified files that their intelligence, dexterity, and ability to navigate both land and water made them uniquely suited for spy operation. However, this program never became fully operational. And as a bonus fact, I love otters, and you should too after watching this video. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Let me know down in the comments below your favorite fact about otters, especially if there's something I didn't cover in this video. Or if I got something wrong, feel free to correct me. I do have more ideas for videos like this, even though I primarily like making Borderlands content. Stay tuned for the otter tier list, it's going to be crazy and controversial. Once again, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you like otters, Black Ops, Borderlands, or if you're autistic, and I'll see you in the next one.